Trade deadline is coming, and one of the biggest trade chips that the Cubs potentially have could be a guy that if the Cubs get rid of, they regret for a long time. We're going to talk about Owen Caissie and why I feel so compelled to tell you guys that it would be a bad idea to trade Owen Caissie if the Cubs don't re-sign Kyle Tucker. Shota Imanaga back out on the mound, dominant. Hey, I think he's coming back sooner than later. We're going to get into that and more right here on the Cubs baseball channel. So, guys, thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Do it because you can, and also hit the bell. It's all things that aren't that hard unless you're Cardinals fan. Thanks to everybody. Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. Great to see you guys today. As always, at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. Get in the comments section and let's talk about our favorite team and what they're doing right now. Some tough games. I mean, it's really been a stretch where the Cubs are taking on the best of the best that each team seems to have. And it's not a bad thing. Honestly, I think it's a good thing. You want to take on the best because you want to keep on comparing what you're doing to what the best that your competition is offering and honestly measure up. Win or lose, the Cubs measure up. They're as good as any team right now in baseball, and they continue to look like that game in and game out. The runs have been hard to come by, but it's because they've been facing some great pitching. That's going to happen, but they're not getting shut out. You know, and there was that last year, every time they faced somebody really good, they didn't score any runs. You know, they didn't score any in Detroit on Sunday. And I look back, the umpire was terrible. I mean, just god awful. Ask Nico. Having a bad day. All right, let me start with this right here. The trade deadline coming. Jed Hoyer made it clear that the Cubs are going to be looking for pitching. And according to Jordan Bastian, who is one of the, one of the old school, I guess at this point in time now, writers for MLB and covers the Cub, he says that Owen Caissie is the best trade piece the Cubs have. The outfielder, this is his quote, the outfielder boasts strong power potential with solid on-base ability. The Cubs want to add an impact piece at the deadline. Teams might be enticed by Caissie as a near MLB-ready change of scenario candidate. And that's what he wrote, right? And went on to talk about Caissie, second-round pick, 2020. Cubs got him in a trade with the Padres. He's only 22 years old. The guy is in AAA for his second year. 254 average, 357 on-base percentage, 8 home runs, 23 runs batted in, 51 runs batted in. 53 RBIs in 51 games, okay? He's also a top 50 prospect. All right, my take on this. This is why I do a channel, because I'm going to give you my take. No one's going to tell me what I can and can't say. And I'm going to tell you right now that he's the best prospect the Cubs have. I liked him as good or better than Pete Crow Armstrong, Matt Shaw, and Cade Horton. And I mean that. As good or better. Now, he's the only one that hasn't gotten to the big leagues. Last year, when Kevin Alcantara was promoted at the end of the season and he was left in AAA, I was shocked. He's a better defender. He's a more disciplined defender. He's a more power hitter. You know, he's got better plate discipline. All in all, he's going to blow Alcantara out long-term in career success. He's the highest drafted Canadian outfielder in history. But that's not, you know what, what I like about him. Let me just start with what I like about him. The guy's 22 and he goes and prepares every day like he's been in the big leagues for 30, he's 35, so 15 years, right? He plays really good defense. Got a solid arm. Takes good routes. At the plate, it's like one Cubs executive told me, it's like he's swinging one of those big, those big bats that used to get as a kid to learn how to hit. The big red bats, the barrel's like this big, which probably like a lot of you guys learned how to hit on those bats. His barrel's like that. He's clutch. He's a guy you look at and go, this dude's going to be in the big leagues and play for a long time and be successful for a long time. He's always been one of the youngest players in the league. Even this year, his second year in AAA, he's still one of the youngest guys. The only reason that he hasn't been to the major leagues yet is because you got Kyle Tucker. Last year you had, you had a right fielder, and he just hasn't had a spot. So you had Cody Bellinger. Now you got Kyle Tucker. Obviously Pete Crow Armstrong's your center fielder. Cubs have Ian Happ signed. No trade clause. Seiya Suzuki's been your other right fielder. So you haven't had any spots for him. And the only glaring weakness that I see in his game is his ability to hit right-handers middle and off speed. And basically what executives told me to say, he's just got to learn how to lay off. This trade potentially really worries me. And the first reason is because until this Cubs front office is signed, they're going to do whatever they can to win now. And, I felt like some of the trades that Theo Epstein made after the Cubs won the World Series were trades where you're like, are you really giving up Dylan Cease and Eloy Jimenez for a fifth starter? Like this guy that's not that good? Yeah, Dylan Cease is an ace now. And Jose Quintana's okay, but he was never great. Not a great trade to me. And there were other trades like that where you're like, God, what are we doing? But if you're trying to win now, you make those deals. Luckily, the Cubs haven't made a Pete Crow Armstrong trade. And I mean, they did, but they got Pete Crow Armstrong. How about the Mets trading him away? And I look at this and I go, Owen Caissie could be one of those guys the Cubs give up. And then we're all looking back on, how did you give up this guy? And you're like, wow, we were trying to win. You better get someone really good. And I don't mean Chris Sale as a rental. Chris Sale, option for next year. You know what? Okay. Or sign Kyle Tucker, and I'm fine with it. Because then it's like, hey, but you better get a lot of value back. But if this front office trades Owen Caissie and they don't sign Kyle Tucker, they ought to be fired. Yeah, I'm saying it. Get him out of here. Because it's this kind of stuff that you look at over the last 3 or 4 years where you're like, okay, so we don't have a third baseman. So we're going to trade 2 third basemen for another outfielder? I mean, there's planning that goes with this stuff. And I'm sorry. Owen Caissie is a guy that could be in the big leagues right now contributing. So if you're going to make that move, just sign Tucker and I'm fine with it. But don't make the move and then we don't have a right fielder. Or you're putting Seiya back there and he can't play defense. I mean, let's be honest here. So what this channel is about, it's about being honest. The defense in the outfield's been a lot better without Seiya out and right. I like him at the DH spot. As a matter of fact, he's an all-star for me. But when he was in right field, come on. Owen Caissie's a good, really, really good outfielder and potentially a guy that you could put out in right field for a long time. It's not just hey, we're going to swap this guy for some reliever and we'll be happy with it. The trade that the Cubs made for Chapman, if they don't win the World Series, we're looking back at that and we're going, what are we doing? But you win the World Series and everybody's like, that's fine. How close is this team to winning the World Series? 2016, they won and they dominated and they had all-stars all over the infield. They had a starting rotation that was just amazing. I mean, think about the rotation. This rotation here, you're on. If you had a playoff series right now and Shota's injured, who you starting? That team, well, do we want to go Lester? Do we want to go Arrieta? Do we want to throw out the guy with a little chip on his shoulder, Lackey? Do we want to throw Woody out there? How about the kid, Hendricks? And every 5 days, you got somebody that was good. There's a lot of question marks here, and this starting rotation's done a really good job. But you get into a short series with some of these teams with, really ace pitching at the top end of their rotation, and on paper the Cubs don't match up. Well, you add somebody that could do that, and I thought we talked about Chris Sale. Maybe you feel a lot better about it. If the Cubs trade Owen Caissie, they better get something like that back. And they better sign Tucker. Because if they make another one of these moves where you're going, hey, we don't have anybody to play third. We traded away a couple prospects for an all-star third baseman. Now we're going to put an unproven rookie at the position because we traded our first-round pick, and you start to look, and then we sold this guy there, and it's like, okay, everything's worked out right now. But I'm throwing the alarm bell out there because when I see this name popping up, Owen Caissie, it bothers me because I know what kind of talent this guy has. And you guys are going to argue with me just like you did with Pete Crow Armstrong. It took 2 years for everyone to be like, oh, I never said anything, because you were hammering me. Some of you guys were hammering me about Hollywood Pete because he stunk when he got to the big leagues, and he did. And I felt like I really believed in him, but I was like, man, I don't know what happened. It takes a little bit of time. Owen Caissie's just as good as Pete Crow Armstrong in his way. So that's it. All right, second thing I want to talk about on the I'm fired up, okay? I know, and you're going, what's going on? Yeah, I'm fired up, okay? Because when I start reading this, I'm like, man, are these guys, are we going to make another Dontrell Willis deal? Are we going to trade away someone? We're going to look back and go, man, we had him. We gave him up. Is it going to be like, go watch the video of the Mets front office trying to explain why they didn't think Pete Crow Armstrong could hit. I'm wondering what they're going to say about Owen Caissie. Oh, he strikes out too much? Yeah, he walks a lot too. When he's got 40 home run a season potential, and he just shows up every day and does it the right way, the guy's going to be he's a consummate pro. He's going to be great. Got to get there. All right. Shota Imanaga back out on the mound, and this is good news for the Cubs because this is a guy the Cubs definitely need, okay? Monday, we knew that he was going to be back out there, and he was dominant. 37-pitch bullpen session. Saturday, bounces back, comes Monday, and he's lights out, right? I love this, too, because you want to get him back out there as soon as possible, right? He's lining up right now to take care of business. He's basically facing, low minor league guys, but you got to get out there and pitch. And he did it in 106-degree heat. He's coming back from that lower body injury that he suffered on making a play at first base. But getting guys out, doing that, these guys are they're so low level in the minor leagues, if it really doesn't matter. But we just haven't seen him since May 5th. And it was a hamstring strain. Not an ACL. I know I said that the other day, and everybody's like, but then I fixed it. But last year he was the Cubs' only all-star. He's the ace of the staff right now, right? 3-2 record and a 2.82 ERA. But it's just exciting to know that, that he's getting closer and closer to returning, and just get ready for it. So they're going to sit. They talked about it today. Craig Counsell in the post game. Hey, we're going to give him 5 days off. So basically now they're just getting him back in his normal rest to be ready to go. when he's ready to go. And the good thing is that it was a hamstring injury. It wasn't an arm injury. He's been throwing the entire time. The other good thing is for a team that lost their ace and then they lost their second ace, the Cubs just continue to find a way to get the job done. They really haven't missed a beat. And it's weird how winning works that way. It's like you just go out there and, and the good teams are good. They just get it done. Over 100 run differential for the Cubs. And when you look through baseball, guess what? Nobody else is there. They're the best. Now the Rockies have almost a 200 run differential the other way. That's how bad they are. But I love the fact that the Cubs find a way. They pitch, they play defense. It's the next man up mentality, and that's what makes this team excited. All right, I've gone long enough, but I felt like I had to really throw this case out there because I know some of you are going to be like, we should trade Owen Caissie. And what I'm telling you is if you trade him, you better get top value back and know that you could look at this deal one day and go, what did we do? What did we do? So be prepared for that. You guys tell me in the comments section, like, subscribe, thumbs up. We'll do it again tomorrow. Obviously, always great hanging with you guys, and go Cubs.